Elon Musk has a huge aspiration for Mars and is something he has made very public. We can all agree that his companies are completely remarkable and unmatched. So today, I am predicting that Elon Musk is not just commercializing his company products. He's not just going to Mars. I think his entire portfolio and businesses were built for the exploration of Mars. Let's break this down. If you look at his companies and try to connect the reason why Musk is CEO, founder, or investor, you can see his purpose goes back to Mars.
You look at great civilizations like ancient Egypt, and they were able to make the pyramids, and they forgot how to do that. And the Romans, they built these incredible aqueducts. They forgot how to do it.
You know, it almost seems, you know, listening to you and look at the different things you've done, that you've got this unique double motivation on everything that I find so interesting. Which is, one is this desire to work for humanity's long-term good. The other is this desire to do something exciting. And it's often, it feels like you feel like you need the one to drive the other. With Tesla, you want to have sustainable energy, so you make these super sexy, exciting cars to do it. You know, solar energy, we need to get there, so we need to make these beautiful roofs. We haven't even spoken about your newest thing, which we don't have time to do, but you want to save humanity from bad AI, and so you're going to create this really cool brain-machine interface to give us all infinite memory and telepathy and so forth. And on Mars, it feels like what you're saying is, yeah, we need to save humanity and have a backup plan, but also we need to inspire humanity, and this is a way to inspire.
What makes him smart is he commercialized the products, making billions to fund his true and main project. SpaceX was designed for reusable rockets to allow multiple flights like airplanes. This will obviously be used between Earth and Mars, but reusability was extremely important. One, it lowers the cost, which makes SpaceX the best, and two, it supports his mission to Mars. Tesla is not only manufacturing electric cars, but more importantly, the batteries create sustainable transport.
We're just going to keep making more and more electric cars and driving the price point down until the industry is very firmly electric.
When would be your guess when that happens?
Well, I made a bet with someone about 3 years ago, 13 or 14 years, something like that.
Right about the time.
Happen, like,
right when we're going to Mars. It'll be exciting times.
Yeah.
This will be
true. It just could. Yeah, exactly. As I was thinking about that, it was like, oh, those time frames are kind of coincident.
Yeah.
So the Cybertruck is a very smart way to commercialize a product he might use and modify for Mars.
Is that a special kind of glass? Is that different than normal windshield glass?
We are going to be using effectively a form of armored glass for the car. And the door panels of the car are the 300 series stainless steel, and it's so tough that it's bulletproof to a handgun.
And why is that important to you that it be bulletproof? I mean,
it's badass and super cool.
That's super cool. But see, I like that answer. It's a good answer.
What is your grand vision for all of this?
The sun doesn't shine all the time, so got to store it in a battery.
How is this going to help developing nations that have massive populations that need to have power?
So the advantage of solar and batteries is that you can avoid building electricity plants at all. So you could be a remote village and have solar panels that charge a battery pack that then supplies power to the whole village without ever having to run thousands of miles of high voltage cable all over the place.
SolarCity, another company, is a simplified electric grid collecting energy from solar panels and storing it. Energy storage is paramount on Mars.
We actually did the calculations to say, like, what would it take to transition the whole world to sustainable energy? What kind of throughput would you actually need? And you need 100 Giga Factories.
So 100 of these?
100 of these, yes.
That would make the United States...
No, the whole world.
The whole world?
The whole world. All energy.
That's it?
Yeah.
Starlink, another company, was designed to expand communication all around Earth, but also possibly around Mars, allowing both planets to communicate.
Starlink will serve the hardest to serve customers that telcos otherwise have trouble doing with landlines or even with cell radio stations, with cell towers. So Starlink will effectively serve the, 3 or 4% hardest to reach customers, for telcos, or for people who simply have no connectivity right now, or the connectivity is really bad. So I think it will be actually helpful and take a significant load off the traditional telcos.
The board company focuses on infrastructure and tunnels.
The thing is, like, why tunnels? You know, sometimes people say, what about like flying cars and all these other things? Could go with a flying car, but there are some drawbacks to flying cars. They are, essentially it's a helicopter with wheels. So rain or hurricane or something, suddenly you can't go anywhere. But tunnels are immune to weather. It does not matter if there's a tornado. It doesn't matter if there's like an ice storm. It doesn't matter what's going on above ground. If you're in a tunnel, you're safe and secure.
A lot of what they are doing seems to be proving the concept and trying to create a very technologically advanced way of boring. On Mars, it seems pretty probable to build underground tunnels because Mars' surface could have sandstorms and there could be a thin layer of ozone.
Wow, look how far that is. Just my luck, this is when the earthquake happened.
Oh, actually, tunnels are safer than the ground in an earthquake.
Tunnels are safer than the ground?
They think of like earthquakes are like waves on the surface.
Right. I see.
And if let's say there's a hurricane, you'd rather be in a submarine than a ship.
Well, that's true.
Thus, building underground tunnels will help quickly build civilization. All right, so the next topic is Hyperloop, was created to transport vehicles.
So I think we've explored the boundaries, at least the physical boundaries of Earth, quite thoroughly. The most important thing that needs to happen is the transition of transportation to electric. And then there's a special case of cities which have a lot of travel between them, below about 500 miles of distance, where I think the Hyperloop would be useful.
I think this form of technology will not only transport people, but transport significant amount of heavy equipment. If you want to automate construction on Mars, Hyperloop will be a great way to transport raw materials and equipment to different locations using the skate technology below ground. I think the reason why Elon Musk originally was a co-founder to OpenAI was because they could build artificial general intelligence that just focused on operations and performing tasks. He could use the technology to help solve problems on Mars, which brings me to Neuralink. At first, I didn't understand why Elon Musk wanted to build Neuralink, but I see the genius in why he did this.
Yeah, this is going to sound pretty weird, but achieve a sort of symbiosis with artificial intelligence. So, but this is not a mandatory thing. This is a thing that you can choose to have if you want. And this is something I think that's going to be really important at a civilization level scale.
If you were to go to Mars where there is no communication, no food, no people, no water, how do you survive? If you look back on the 2015 film The Martian, Matt Damon had some issues on Mars. 1, his team left the planet and didn't know if he was alive or not. 2, he tried to communicate back home to NASA and it took so much work. 3, he had to rely on his knowledge on how to create food. And 4, there was no one there to help him. Neuralink doesn't seem hugely beneficial here on Earth, except for helping with medical issues, and people are resistant to connecting their brains to this device. But if you knew you're going to Mars, I think the pros certainly outweigh the cons. You will certainly wear one if you knew that you could connect all the satellites and the systems to support you. Anyone would do it rather than being left in the abyss. You will always know where you are in space. You can connect to the cameras. You can control the tools and equipment on Mars. You can automate the process without using a computer per se. Technically, if robots came online, you can automate the construction process of the civilization. Neuralink might be the connection to all the equipment and tech that Elon and his different teams are building. For now, he may sell Neuralink to healthcare, then NASA, to other agencies, but ultimately for Mars. I think the true advantage of Neuralink is on Mars, people can control their environment and not let their environment control them. So the genius in all of this is Elon Musk separated each of the companies so that each one focused on their one aspect of the big picture. So there's no corruption from inside and no entity can force him to break it up. The only limitation is his physical capacity to work 100 hours a week. If Elon can keep this up, which I'm sure he can, not only will he win the race to Mars, he will have very advanced tech that will support rapid building on Mars. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.